Coming up on KUJH, we tell you why you received a national emergency alert yesterday afternoon.
We also tell you how new enrollment numbers are affecting KU bus routes.
And still to come, we talk about a new fast food restaurant opening in the Kansas Union.
Live from the studio in Stauffer Flint at the University of Kansas, you're watching KUJH News.
Hi, welcome back to KUJH. I'm Claire Decatur.
And I'm Jackson Reed. And Claire, I know if you saw it in our headlines, what were you doing at 1:20 p.m. yesterday when it seems like every device known to man went off and scared me a little bit? Did it scare you?
Oh, it definitely scared me. I was out here working in the studio getting ready for today's show, and my phone blew up around with everybody's phone around me. It's kind of freaky.
It was very weird. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, sent out a nationwide test for both emergency alert systems and wireless alerts. In Lawrence, the alert, as we were talking about, sounded off at 1:20 p.m., just as many KU students were grabbing a bite to eat.
It was super funny. Like, it kept me from listening to my boring professor.
Okay, I thought the alert was not like startling enough to be like, oop, scared, but it was enough to be like concerning, like what's happening right now, but whatever, you know, it worked, it happened. I'm glad we have this system in place.
Like an alert's going off, and then we thought an alert was going off, and an alert was going off.
I was taking an exam, and it was kind of crazy.
I thought there was going to be a tornado or something because the weather's off, but yeah, we're chilling.
The last FEMA test alert was in August 2021, since FEMA's tests were every 3 years. You can expect the next test to be in 2026.
And following a year-long effort, faculty at KU took a big step toward unionizing last week. KUJH's Blake Ullman tells us more.
A year ago, faculty at the University of Kansas announced their intention to form a union. Last week, the United Academics of KU filed authorization cards with the Kansas Department of Labor.
As I said, we are an ever-growing majority. We are very excited to be at this stage in the process. We're very excited to vote yes for a union here at KU, and we're really looking forward to having a formalized seat at the bargaining table.
The union says they want to see change here at KU. Specifically, they want a seat at the table in the decision-making process and are fighting for higher pay and better benefits. After submitting the union cards, the Kansas Department of Labor will verify the signatures. If at least 30% of the faculty sign cards, an election will be scheduled. As of now, the election date has not been set.
We would ultimately like to work with the university administration. You know, we want this place to be good, and they want this place to be good as well. So we would like to be able to work with them, and I'll just reiterate that we hope that they will work with us to have a quick and fair election.
If the eventual election results in a union being formed, faculty at KU will join more than 300,000 higher education professionals, including graduate teaching assistants at KU, and be represented by a union. For KUJH News, I'm Blake Ullman.
Thank you, Blake. While a date for election has not been set just yet, we will be sure to bring you the latest details once they become available.
They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Students at Eudora High School seem to agree. The school's back row breakfast crew knows how to bring the flavor before school. KUJH reporter Jack Diddenbeim has more.
As the sun rises on Eudora High School, the bacon starts to sizzle for the back row breakfast feast. At 6:15 most Wednesday mornings, a group of about 12 students known as the Back Row Breakfast Crew park their trucks and fire up their flat-top grills to cook up some of their favorite breakfast dishes right there in the back of the school's parking lot. Sophomore Parker DeVore says the get-together is something special.
Everyone thinks it's really cool. Nobody's really done it before. The teachers think it's awesome. They always ask about it, and students think it's really cool too.
Senior Aiden McDonald says the back row breakfast started his sophomore year when he and some friends had to be at school early for 0 hour. A period before school that allows kids to meet with their teachers for help.
And from there we're like, oh, well, maybe we should start making breakfast before that. So we started, like, I guess, my sophomore year, and it's been going ever since.
This past Wednesday, the crew made biscuits and gravy with bacon and hash browns. Classmates sometimes join the group for breakfast, but teachers are the more frequent visitors. Science teacher Ben Meckel joins the crew every time they have breakfast and says he loves getting to know the kids in a different setting.
You get to see the kids kind of outside of the classroom and kind of get to know their personalities a little bit better. So we've kind of expanded and started inviting more teachers to it, and it's just a good experience kind of to build a relationship that's not based upon just sitting in the classroom. So
The most important thing for the crew, however, is simply spending time with each other.
My favorite part's just hanging out with friends, doing something different. All the teachers like it. It's a fun time.
I'm Jack Dennebein, reporting for KUJH News.
The Back Row Breakfast crew has pancakes, bacon, and eggs on their menu for next Wednesday.
Claire, we're talking a little bit about the weather right now. I mean, when you step outside right now, you get a little bit of a fall breeze. It's normally not your Kansas weather, but we've had the last couple weeks a lot of 80s and a lot of high temperatures. Now you get a little bit of a fall breeze.
Hey, I'm looking forward to the fall. Hey, Ashton, how does it feel outside right now? We getting some fall weather?
Thanks, guys. And if we take a look outside right now, we have lots of clear skies other than this crack on our live screen camera right there. But other than that, we are staying clear for today, and our temperatures are going to continue to climb today back into the 80s. If you take a look at our satellite and radar, though, this is us here. We are looking very clear. We have quite a bit of action down to the southeast of us, but nothing to worry about here. Temperatures currently are sitting there in the lower 70s. Some locations are still feeling the 60s up there in North Platte, Nebraska. So we are feeling much warmer than they are. And we have this light wind coming out of the northwest coming at 6 miles per hour. So it's going to give us a nice breeze for the day. Today we are getting up to 80 degrees, mostly clear skies, and we just have that northwest wind staying with us up to 15 miles per hour as the day goes on. So if we can just hold out for those 80s just one more day, we are dropping our temperatures significantly through the weekend, and we're going to talk about that coming up. Windy conditions for Friday, the first freeze of the season, and then we are going to be back to more seasonable temperatures. Jackson and Liddy, back to you guys.
After the break, we talk about what's new with transportation around town. Stay here with us on KUJH.
There. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Always stay humble and kind. Don't expect a free ride from no one. Don't hold a grudge or a chip, and here's why. Bitterness keeps you from flying. Always stay humble and kind. Yeah.
Welcome back to KUJH News. This year, the University of Kansas took in over 5,200 freshman students, which means buses are more full than ever. Claire, you had an opportunity to share the way KU Transportation is managing the crowd.
This year is the first year since 2019 that bus ridership is starting to look like pre-pandemic levels.
From the first 4 weeks of school, we're still down about 4% compared to pandemic numbers, but that includes all the city routes. So the off-campus routes are still lower than they were, but the on-campus circulators have both gone up almost 20% compared to before the pandemic in the first 4 weeks of school.
Bus ridership has always been an issue at KU, averaging 5,000 to 7,000 riders per day, with a bus stopping every 5 to 8 minutes. The most popular stops at KU are Oswald and Snow Hall, which are both on the Red 43 bus route.
Route 43 is the one it's our highest ridership route every year. And so as we removed service, it was the one that we removed service from last. So it was the one that we put it back on first, because it covers a pretty significant portion of campus. Before the pandemic, we had years where there were 800,000 or 900,000 rides on that route in just when classes are in session.
A year ago, KU's bus budget was cut by $1 million. That meant they had to redesign routes. After going to Student Senate, they received $400,000 that all went to Route 43 Red. Then, in early August, they received $500,000 from the university.
The extra $500,000 that we got went to all of the other routes. And so this got all of the off-campus routes, 30 to 38, back to 20-minute service instead of 30-minute service. And that put all the resources back on Route 42 to also be back to the number of buses that that used to be on the 2 routes that now make up the 1 route. But we've got the same number of buses on it now that used to be on the 2 routes.
DeVries suggests that students leave 10 to 15 minutes early to ensure a spot on a bus and to practice riding the bus with their schedule. For KUJH News, I'm Claire Decatur.
You can find out when and where buses are in Lawrence by visiting the My Bus Lawrence app.
The city of Lawrence opens a new Central Station transport that helps people get around. The transportation is helpful for the public. This project, called Central Station, started in January of this year and is expected to be completed by January 2024. After a 10-year progress and 3 failed attempts, Lawrence Transit is building a new centrally located bus hub on Bob's Billings and Crest Line.
KU and the City of Lawrence have worked on in the route redesign is minimizing transfers. So for instance, city routes especially, you might have a grocery store, a pharmacy, or somewhere where you could get school supplies, and kind of having as many amenities as possible on a bus route is something that was really a focal point.
A change that also helps students who rely on public transit.
About 60% of students will have direct access to a route that comes to or through campus, counting that they might have to transfer at the bus hub, but then it would be a direct shot right onto campus.
Buses currently circulate out of the stop by the public library, a stark difference from what the new location will offer, including indoor wait areas. For more information, you can visit lawrencetransit.org.
A USA Paralympic track athlete from Topeka continues to reach new heights in his journey to motivate others. KUJH reporter Dylan Vanderveen has more.
In all the things that's happened to him, he's never let it be an excuse to not achieve at the rate he can achieve at.
At Royal Valley High School in Hoyt, running coach Justin Gunner aims to do one thing for his runners: motivate.
As the time goes forward and time goes by, motivation is a biggest key in my lifetime, because if you don't see something, it won't happen.
And with Dustin's life, finding motivation was key. At 8 years old, Dustin had an ATV accident that caused a serious brain injury and paralyzed the left side of his body. But after months in a wheelchair, Dustin forced himself to slowly start to gain back his strength and eventually learned to walk and even run. But he didn't just learn how to run, he learned how to sprint. Dustin became a Paralympic track athlete for Team USA and rose to be one of the top athletes in the world at the 200-meter dash. But after all of his success, Dustin has found his true calling in coaching.
Oh, I'll tell you what, man, it's amazing because I love motivating kids and other people.
Head running coach Nathan Smith said Dustin has always been a good motivator, and now he's become an excellent coach and leader too.
He listens and he learns really well, and then he applies that to the craft of running, which he knows, but now he knows how to share it. And that's the thing he's really grown with, is how to share it.
Gunter also has his own running club, where he helps over 40 runners of all ages, and even after everything that's happened to him, Dustin has never let it slow him down in motivating others.
Oh man, Dusty helped me so much, especially all of us, push us to our limits. We were doing 200-meter repeats, and I felt like I couldn't go anymore, and he started running with me and pushing me, and that really helps.
He also has never let it slow him down. Gunter now spends his time training for triathlons and hiking, but when he needs motivation to keep pushing himself, he looks towards his students.
Whether it's in Florida at the national championships or whether it's at these triathlons, I see him kind of just taking pieces of these kids and these kids' energy and applying it to what he's doing.
Motivating kids is like a family for me, and because of that, it pushed me to keep on moving forward.
I'm Dylan Vanderveen, KUJH News.
Certainly an inspiration. Thank you, Dylan. Claire, as an Olathe native, I know this time of year might be a little warmer for you typically, but as someone from Wisconsin, we're feeling it. This is summer weather for us, but how do you feel about this fall breeze we have going on right now?
Hey, I'm liking the fall breeze, but you really can never tell with Kansas weather. It's kind of spontaneous.
Unless you're Ashton Rizzo. Ashton, what's going on with the weather?
West wind that feels very calm right now, so it is a very beautiful day out here. The sun is warming us up. We are getting up into 80 degrees today, so KU students, be sure to go outside and enjoy this nice weather, because later tonight we are dropping our temperatures significantly, and we'll talk more about that on the full forecast coming up.
After the break, we will catch you up on the latest in Kansas athletics.
And we also take you out to Free State High School to learn about how the Firebirds are preparing for this week's matchup. Coming up on KUJH.
That you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
There. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Always stay humble and kind. Don't expect a free ride from no one. Don't hold a grudge or a chip, and here's why. Bitterness keeps you from flying. Always stay humble and kind. Yeah.
Welcome back to KUJH. Now it's time for a little bit of sports. I'm Dylan Vanderveen. This week was packed full of Jayhawks athletics, so without further ado, here we go. Number 24 ranked Kansas Jayhawks traveled down to Austin to meet number 3 ranked Texas Longhorns. And that's safe to say things got off to the wrong foot early for KU as starting quarterback Jalen Daniels was ruled out early with a back injury just minutes before the game started. Backup Jason Bean attempted to lead the Kansas Jayhawks to a miracle upset, and did he do it? Well, no. No, he did not. Despite being a close game in the first half, Texas ran away with the game in the second half after a failed handoff between Bean and Highshaw in the 4th and 1, crushing any Jayhawk momentum, and the Longhorns were able to take care of the Jayhawks by a final score of 40-14. The Jayhawks fell in 4-1 while Texas remains undefeated. A KU team coming out of the last weekend with a positive note, however, is the Kansas volleyball team. The Jayhawks took on the Houston Cougars twice this past weekend in a ranked matchup. They were able to bring out the brooms, winning in 5-set thriller on Friday and sweeping the Cougars on Saturday. The Jayhawks are ranked number 17 in the nation in the latest poll, and it's their turn to head to Texas this weekend as they have a date with the Texas Longhorns in a 2-game series this weekend. The series also marks the 39th year of the Late Night in the Fog in Allen Fieldhouse. Brock Niermeyer is live outside of Allen Fieldhouse. Brock, what can you tell us?
Yes, Dylan, currently right outside of Allen Fieldhouse, which will host tomorrow's 39th annual Late Night in the Fog. It is your first chance to get to see the Kansas men's and women's basketball teams in action with both their seasons just over a month away. Both teams will scrimmage and do some other fun activities to show a little bit of their personality, and then after, the court will be taken over by 42-time platinum-selling artist Flo Rida. Tickets are free, but you can only get them online, so make sure you go on there, claim them, and do that now so you can show up and support your Jayhawks tomorrow night. For KUJH, I'm Brock Niemeyer.
Thanks, Brock. This should be a ton of fun inside the Frog. I know I will be there. Free State football for high school sports. Coach Kevin Stewart and the Free State Freebird football team is off to a 5-0 start this season. But senior quarterback Wesley Edison and senior offensive lineman Hank Fuse seem to have bigger goals on their mind, and that would be winning a championship.
I mean, I want to finish 8-0. I want to win Sunflower League, and I want to make a run in the playoffs. That's what I see my expectations.
I've been thinking about state championship since the summer, since last spring. You know, that's the big goal.
The Fowers to take their 5-0 record this week are on the road this week as they're set for a matchup with Shawnee Mission North. But after a week after that, they come right home to play Lawrence High School in an anticipated city showdown. That's all for KUJH Sports, but if you like music, you're going to want to stay with us because we're going to take a look at a concert series in town. Stay right here with us on KUJH News.
That you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
Welcome back to KUJH. There's a new music scene this fall in Lawrence. KUJH reporter Aiden Pezzold has more on the story.
The Lawrence Arts Center is home to many different events. Anything from art exhibits to improv shows. They really embrace the art culture here in Lawrence. Now the next best thing, the Tuesday concert series. Led by musician and Lawrence native Larry Carter, with new artists and acoustic groups every single week. Tuesday concerts are giving local artists a platform to share their music with a larger audience. The concerts are free, but a tip jar is offered for those that want to support the event. I sat down with the creator of the series, Larry Carter, to ask where he got the idea for Tuesday concerts.
There are extraordinary musicians here in Lawrence, and many of them are unknown because there just aren't that many places to play if you're an acoustic musician. The other half of it, though, is there's no charge. It's all based on a tip jar.
Larry leads off each show with his own acoustic performance. Artists then follow up for the next hour with all types of genres, from jazz to folk rock to the blues. Their next show is October 10th, where they will host the Americana band, the Tonganoxie Split. Every show begins at 7 o'clock sharp every Tuesday, right behind me at the Lawrence Arts Center, where there's new sounds and genres each and every week, and it's completely for free. For KUJH News, I'm Aiden Pezzold.
Thank you, Aiden. The Lawrence music scene seems to be growing more and more by the day.
After last week's show, we've been wanting to go to some pumpkin patches. Ashton, what's the weather looking like for this weekend?
We had another day of 80 degrees temperatures yesterday. We got up to 80 degrees, getting pretty close to that high back in 2007 at 89 degrees. Good news, though, is that we are dropping our temperatures for tomorrow. Temperatures right now, though, currently are sitting in the 70s, and we are going to continue to climb our temperatures as the day goes on. By the time you get out of your 3 p.m. class, we are sitting there at 80 degrees with a northwest wind at 11 miles per hour. So we are going to make a slow climb, just barely touching the 80s, back into the high 70s after that. And then tonight low is in the 40s, 45 degrees for our low with lots of clear skies. So it would be a good idea to get the hoodies out for tonight and then hang on to them for tomorrow, because we are dropping back in to the 60, 61 degrees and quite breezy tomorrow, with the wind gusts getting up to 35 miles per hour. So tomorrow is going to be a colder, breezier day than it is today. And then beautiful football weather there on Saturday. Kickoff's going to be sitting at 62 degrees, which is a northwest wind coming out at 7 miles per hour. So it's going to be perfect Saturday football weather if you're heading out to the game. This is our temperature trend right now. We are sitting below average for this weekend, and then we are going to dip back into more average-like temperatures for the start of next week. Our average is sitting at 75 for this time of year. We are quite a bit below average for this weekend. We have a cold front that is sitting in the northwest parts of Canada that's going to dip down into the central plains later tonight, bringing our temperatures down from those 80s back into the 60s, also giving us this 20% chance there for showers early on Friday morning. And then our first freeze of the season may come early on Saturday morning, so won't be alarmed if you wake up seeing some type of dew or freeze on your car. Other than that, temperatures are looking great for the rest of the week, back into the 70s to finish the week off.
Hey, thanks, Ashton. Excited to see the weather is dropping for this weekend. Just heard soon the Union will have an additional dining option for students.
According to Bailey Myers, Associate Director of Marketing and Programs, the Union will be opening Wendy's at the end of October. The restaurant will be near the KJHK radio station and the market on the 3rd floor. The restaurant hours will be from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Wendy's will also be available on the Grubhub app, Dining Dollars, and Beacon Bucks. Myers says the students are excited for another recognizable brand.
I really think students and faculty and staff are really excited for a recognizable brand to be on campus and have some recognizable food options and just being able to go in and know what you're wanting to order.
July of 2023, the new restaurant will create 20 to 30 new student jobs, according to Myers. Junior Emma Sable is excited about having shorter lines at Chick-fil-A as well as a different option.
I'm really excited for Wendy's because Wendy's is one of my favorite fast food restaurants, like top tier for nuggets, ice cream, fries, you name it. So the fact that we have one on campus now, most of my food budget's probably going to go there, but I'm really, really excited for it.
I can't wait to see what kind of impact the Wendy's is going to have on the Kansas Union.
Hey, and I'm excited for a chocolate frosty.
You and me both. That's all for this week on KUJH. Make sure to stay tuned to our social media for bonus content.
And be sure to tune in at this time next week as we continue to update you on the latest in weather, sports, and news.